Welcome back. I'm Noah Casella. I'm a registered dietitian, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about the most common fat loss or dieting mistakes most people make. Let's get into this one. First and foremost, what we are going to talk about here today is probably the most common mistakes that I see most people make with their dieting phases, just being too aggressive too early in the dieting or fat loss phase overall. This has two components, the first being calories and the second being workouts. Let's talk about calories first. What I see most people do is they will create a massive calorie deficit right off the get-go, right? And they're probably highly motivated right in the beginning. They just, kind of sick of what they're seeing in the mirror, and maybe they got done eating too much for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and they're really ready to pull back on their overall energy intake. And they do, right? Instead of eating what they would need, let's say theoretically 3,000 calories, they like, cool, let's slash that in half and let's eat 1,500 calories. And theoretically, you're like, cool, this should work. This should, make me lose weight really fast. However, right, there's a yin to a yang is a good way to phrase this here, in that, right, you pull those calories and the sustainability aspect of that is just going to suffer tremendously. So what ends up happening is we become too tired and too hungry too quickly. It's no longer sustainable for us to manage that low of calories. So first and foremost is creating a massive calorie deficit. That's a first mistake. The second mistake is, on top of typically a massive calorie deficit, they're trying to go do a workout and they're trying to push the limits every single time they go do a workout. So it's like they're going out for a run, right? And then they're like, cool, I can run a mile in 10 minutes. Awesome. The next time they try and do it, they try and run it in 9 minutes. They try and run it in 8 minutes, right? And they're pushing it every single time they go and work out. This is in addition to this massive calorie deficit that they've created, right? Both of these combined are just going to lead you to burnout really quickly. And that burnout, like I mentioned earlier, is just being too tired and too hungry to sustain either the calorie intake or the actual physical activity programming that you have. So what to do instead? My big suggestions here is a moderate calorie deficit. So shaving off a few hundred calories. Then from there, take your workouts and take those workouts under the context of, can I do a workout and can I repeat this workout tomorrow? Can I repeat this workout the next day? Can I repeat this workout the following day? So right in that, you're probably not going to be able to push it to 100% every single one of those workouts. But the idea is you don't stack up those minutes, rather you stack up the days and the weeks of consistently working out. So that's our first mistake here, is being too aggressive with our calorie deficit and too aggressive with our workouts. And instead of doing that, having a moderate calorie deficit and just maintaining workouts that are going to allow you to fight another day, so to speak, right? You're going to be able to work out tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and not just be completely fried. The second mistake that I see most people make in terms of their diet and fat loss phase is that they are influenced by the people around them, whether it's social media, friends, or family. They're going to be influenced by the next fad diet or the next diet trend that's coming out, and they're just going to kind of hop on that bandwagon. This kind of leads to constant change or inconsistency in your habits and your routines that probably would get you to your goal, but because we keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping, we just never get there. We kind of just yo-yo back and forth. And this often leads to people just spinning their wheels. So what to do instead? What are we going to do about this to make sure that we are, actually seeing the progress that we want to see? Have a plan, and have a plan that you are confident in and that you can implement. That might be, working with a dietitian like me, the shameless plug here, saying, hey, let's figure out a strategy. What is going to be my workout plan? What is going to be my meal plan? What are going to be my calories? And you stick to that like white on rice for a prolonged period of time so that you can actually see the results. But again, you're confident in it, whether it's you put the confidence in a dietitian or you put the confidence in a coach or you develop the plan yourself. Find a plan that you're confident in that you can implement on a regular basis. The third mistake that I see a lot of individuals make when it comes to their fat loss or dieting phase is they actually become overly restrictive with their food choice, whether it is cutting out all of their fats or cutting out all of their carbohydrates because the carbs are terrible and carbs and fats make us fat, neither of which are true, but nonetheless, the concept here is we become overly restrictive with our food choice. So what should we do instead of cutting out fats or cutting out carbohydrates? My big recommendation here is use the foundation of staying within a calorie deficit, right? That is what's going to drive that fat loss. Hands down, period, full stop. Now, within that component as well, I would suggest, right, when you're looking at food choice and you're trying to optimize for diet composition, right, having a healthy, well-balanced diet, I would suggest choosing foods from the food groups: your low-fat dairies, your lean proteins, your whole grains, your fruits, your vegetables, your beans, your nuts and seeds. If you choose a majority of those foods, know that you're covered. Know that you're getting vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, but you're also getting the calories and the macros that you need as well. So with those two components, rather than being sort of overly restrictive with fats and carbs, focus on maintaining your calorie deficit and having a good diet composition of a ton of variety of, like I said, the food groups. The fourth mistake that I see a lot of people make when it comes to their dieting and fat loss phase is not focusing on strength training and protein intake. Rather, what a lot of people will focus on is cardio and slamming their calories down as low as they possibly can. Yes, that methodology of cardio and slamming those calories down, that's going to cause weight loss, and a lot of it really fast. However, as we alluded to in the first mistake that we talked about, it's probably not going to be very sustainable for very long. And let's say you are able to sustain it for a long period of time, right? You slam calories down and you are able to go out and do a ton of cardio every single day for months on end. Theoretically, that's very difficult to achieve, but probably some people out there that can. It's going to leave you with, yes, a ton of weight loss. Some from fat, but also some from muscle. This is where you kind of get that, Skeletor look to you, right? This is that Ozempic face or that Ozempic butt, right? Where we don't have the muscle tissue or the structure to kind of fill us out, so we kind of look just like a skeleton, so to speak, right? I mean, we just don't look healthy. We don't look strong, so to speak. So here's what to do instead. Hit your protein goal on a daily basis and make sure that you're strength training at least twice per week. If you do those two things, you're going to at least prevent any muscle loss during this fat loss period of time. But in hopes, maybe this is a new thing for you, so maybe you'll be able to kind of get some of those newbie gains where you're able to kind of put on some muscle tissue during this phase and come out of this weight loss phase looking great, feeling great, and being strong. So yeah, that was number 4. Let's go ahead and move on. The fifth mistake that I see a lot of people make is just lack of planning and lack of preparation in general. There are 1,000 different ways that we can go with this, but I have a few bullet points that we'll talk about here. So not having a goal, not having a time frame, not knowing where you're going or how long it's going to take. We don't have a goal for weight loss. We don't have a time frame that we're going to lose it in, so we're just shooting from the hip, right? This can also translate over to like meal planning, right? We didn't do anything on Sunday, we didn't do anything on Monday, and we're going in to Monday, no lunch prep, no breakfast prep, no nothing, right? And we're trying to stick to a diet. We're trying to stick to hitting our protein. We're trying to stick to making sure we're staying within our calorie budget. It makes it really hard, right? So rather than flying by the seat of our pants and not having any preparation or any planning, here's what I would suggest to do instead. Make sure that you have a goal target, right? Whether it's a body fat percentage or target weight loss, or maybe it's muscle gain for you, right? Not only do you have this goal target for you, you have a time frame in which you want to hit this within, right? This is a great way to put a carrot at the end of the stick. Know how long you're going to be in this. Know how long you have to kind of grind it out. Stay within your calorie deficit. Do the things you need to do, and know that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And in addition to having a goal, a time frame, I would suggest meal planning, making sure you know what you're doing the night before at least, right? How are you going to hit your 100 plus grams of protein that next day, right? At least have a couple meals planned out for that. It's no mistake when people are eating a high protein diet, they're not accidentally eating 100 or 120 grams of protein. That's a very difficult task to do. Protein is a pain in the ass, it's expensive, and it's not an easy feat to meet. So when it comes to dieting and fat loss, my big suggestions here, yeah, have a goal time frame, have a goal weight loss or goal fat loss or some sort of target you're trying to hit, in addition to kind of planning out some of these minor pieces or minor behaviors that you need to hit in order to hit this bigger goal or achieve this bigger goal. The next mistake that I see a lot of people make when it comes to their fat loss or dieting phase is they try and huff it on their own. They don't look for any support. They try and grind it out. They try and keep it all to themselves. And I get it. Like weight loss and body shape size, that's kind of a private thing. You want that to be a private thing, but we are social animals. We love to see what other people are doing, learn from other people, explain things and teach things to other people. So all that being said, right, a mistake that I see a lot is they try and keep this all kind of internal. They don't try and express need for support or need for help or want to talk to someone else. So right? Whether it's finding a training partner or a support group, or getting your significant other on board, or at least not in the way, right? Not the kind of crabs in a bucket mentality. So here's what to do instead is to look for a support group. Look for whether that is a Facebook group or hiring a coach, or maybe it's a training partner that you can go to the gym with that holds you a little bit more accountable. I'd also highly recommend, talking to your immediate family, to your partner, about your goals, what you want to achieve, the time frame that you want to achieve them within, and maybe not demanding support for them, but at least asking them not to interfere with what you're trying to do. And right, so that might be like, hey, pizza's on Friday night, it's really getting difficult for me to manage that. Can we switch Friday night pizzas up with grilled chicken and salads or something? I don't know, right? Like trying to figure out a way that you can create an environment for yourself, whether it's at home or at the gym, that is supportive, that people are on your team.